Om Shanno Mitra Shanvaruna Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspati Shanno Vishnu Rukrama Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanamamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu mamavatu vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May you, O Supreme Being, friend of all, the holiest of all, and controller of the universe, be merciful unto us. May you, O Almighty One, Lord of the universe and support of all, endow us with knowledge and power. May you, O omnipresent and omnipotent Being, shower your blessings all around us. We bow unto you, most powerful and supreme Being. You alone are the omniscient one whom we feel within our hearts. We will call you and you alone the true one. Your will is truly revealed in the Vedas, will we obey and preach. We will be truthful in word, deed, and thought. You are our shelter. May you protect us who study and contemplate your nature, who speak only the truth, so that understanding may be firm in your will and never turn away from it. Your will is truth and righteousness. That which is contrary to your will is untruth and unrighteousness. May you again shelter and protect us. O Lord, be merciful and grant this our prayer, for which we shall feel ever and ever grateful. Let there be peace in the heavenly regions, in the middle regions, and on earth. Om Bhur Bhuvasva Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. O Supreme Being, cause of all manifestations in the universe, source of existence, intelligence, and bliss, we meditate upon your adorable nature. May you illumine and inspire our intellect. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. You may take your seats, please.
Thank you very much, Pandit Daniram and Ms. Indira Parasram Singh. My task this afternoon is a simple yet important one. That is to introduce the chairman for this evening's proceedings. Since the year 2000, Vidya Ramphal has worked as a broadcaster with several media outlets in Trinidad and Tobago. He's a former student of the Avocat Vedic School. Vidya is currently working as a freelance sports commentator. His current projects include CONCACAF League Tournament, the Regional Super 50 Cricket Tournament, and the South American International Football matches. Ladies and gentlemen, children, it is my esteemed pleasure to welcome on stage our most celebrated past pupil, who is doing a lot of good work out there, Mr. Vidya Ramphal.
Thank you very much, Raj. I don't know about celebrated, but thank you very much for the very kind words of introduction. As we start up today, please permit me to establish protocol for this evening's function. Mr. Roshan Parasram Singh, the President of the Arya Pratinidhi Sabha. Mr. Anthony Ramjit, SS2, School Supervisor 2, Ministry of Education. Mr. Ian Ramlal, the Line Supervisor of the Avocat Vedic School. Dr. Lakram Bodo, MP for Faizabad. Dr. Suraj Ratan Rambachan, the MP for Tabaki Talparu, and of course our featured speaker today, Mr. Derek Boren, the counselor for Mondesi, Ms. Andeline Mohan Ragbir, the secretary of the PTA, specially invited guests, recipients of awards, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, our principal Nirmala Meru and staff of the Avocat Vedic School, and of course, members of the media. Good evening, Sitaram, and welcome, welcome, welcome to the 65th anniversary celebration of the Avocat Vedic School. And as you can see behind me, the theme of this year's celebration, celebrating our past, igniting our future. As the great bard William Shakespeare said, what's past is prologue. It may be gone, but it affects what will happen in the future. And it's a great pleasure to be here with you. I was here with you for the 50th anniversary 15 years ago. And I'll tell you something, that was the first public function I ever did in my short career as a broadcaster. Certainly helped me a lot in my development. I was also here for the 60th anniversary. Some of you all were also here, and I know that today is going to be a great program. Now, we do have a lot to share with you, a lot of fine moments, so let's get straight into it. When you were coming in, just as you turn to the right, the principal's office is right there. 6 persons have occupied that office. Back in 1954, when this organization started, a gentleman by the name of Dipshan Udit was principal for 5 years up to 1959. Mr. Bikram Sao served from 1959 to 1982. When I was here as a student, he was my principal. I remember him and his light blue Corolla, which we were ordered not to touch at all. Mr. Suraj Birju, 1984 to 1991. And of course, a gentleman that we've seen already for the evening, Mr. Surendranath Daniram, Pandit Surendranath Daniram, of course, who was one of my teachers when I was here. He served as principal from 1994 to 2011. Since 2011, the young lady that serves as a principal has done a wonderful job in elevating Avocat Vedic School and building it to a higher level than her predecessors. You might be surprised to know that she was actually in school at the same time as me. Now, that might age her a little bit, but she looks substantially younger because her exercise program is a lot better than mine. So let me welcome her to the podium at this time. Please welcome the principal of Avocat Vedic School, Ms. Nirmala Meru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rampel, for that wonderful welcome. And yes, I am younger than you. Having the protocol established, my purpose here is to give you a nice warm welcome. It's not a principal's report, because I am sure throughout the program, you will see what Avocat Vedic has been up to. So it is indeed my pleasure to warmly welcome each and every single person here to our 65th school anniversary. Anniversaries, birthdays, it's always a time to reflect. And while reflecting, we could not have come up with a better theme than celebrating our past and igniting our future. Past, because without those who were there before us, we would not have had that solid foundation to build and progress further. So I would like to sincerely thank all members who were before us, members of staff, those who are the vision for the school, and the community who are financial supporters of this noble institution. Thank you so much for the great work that you would have done so that we can continue in that same light. And as I thank them, we are present, so I must thank my staff. You know, recently, wherever we go, being the principal, you always get a lot of good commendations. I want to throw all of that on the staff of Avocat Vedic today. They are the backbone of this institution, and it's through their hard work and commitment that we are able to do so well. And that would apply for both teaching and non-teaching staff. And we also focus on igniting the future. And as you can see, we have some of the bright minds present with us today. And that is because you are the bulbs of the future. The academic results says so. And a lot is expected of you. And while you serve in the future, and we will be dependent on what you do, I want you to remember the morals and values that you would have learned here, and the spiritual insight so that you would serve not only with academic knowledge, but also with good morals and values that would lead you into good decision making. So it is in this slide that I welcome all of you. I want to thank all our stakeholders for always supporting us, my school supervisor too, and my line supervisor, Mr. Ian Ramlal. To the build-up of SCA, I don't know if it was under Mr. Ramjit's instruction, but Mr. Ramlal was like a member of staff here with the continuous monitoring. So we appreciate it. These results certainly reflected to show that it worked. Our PTA, Ms. Andeline Ragbe, while some stakeholders may have a job to do, you know, the support of the parents is usually voluntary. I can boast of the support of the PTA at Avocat Vedic School. And when I speak of the PTA, yes, we could clap for that. When I speak of the PTA, a lot of the parents come from the community. So I speak of the PTA and extension, the community as well, the villagers. This school is a village school. A lot of the teachers who work here are past students of the school, myself included. So it's not just a job for us. It's a little more than that. You know, we feel a certain amount of loyalty, a certain amount of belongingness. For some of us, our parents would have attended here, our siblings, our children. So I am saying that to give you the assurance that we would always try to do our best to serve at this school. It's more than just duty. So on behalf of all the teachers, on behalf of the OJTs, on behalf of the ancillary, I welcome you today to celebrate Anniversary 65. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The principal of the Avocat Vedic School, Ms. Nirmala Meru. We do have greetings at this time from the PTA, the Parents Teachers Association. It's very important that a school has a strongly functioning Parent Teachers Association. And one of the reasons for the success of the Avocat Vedic School is that close interaction between the parents and teachers of this wonderful institution, which, as you know, is celebrating its 65th anniversary this year. I'd like to invite a young lady who has 2 children in the school already, one in SEA and one in Standard 2, and she hopes to have another one in school coming up. Please welcome the secretary of the PTA of the Avocat Vedic School, Andeline Mohan Ragbir. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ramphal. Namaste to all. Madam Principal, I hope you took note of that entrance, yes, recommendation. This evening, it's a great pleasure to celebrate the 65th anniversary of the Avocat Vedic A.P.S. School with you and reflect upon their most appropriate theme, celebrating our past, igniting our future. Mr. Ramphal already established all protocols, so all protocols observed. As we celebrate our 65 years of outstanding existence, we need to reflect on 2 parts, the past and the future. So as parents out there looking to the Avocat Vedic School, what do we look at? A long list of parents wanting to enroll into our school. We look at years of SE excellence. We look at winners of competitions for SO. It's in your program. And we've seen the expansion of the infrastructure. These things are in our past, and as Ms. said, build this solid foundation to which our future rests. In my opinion, our future is already ignited. And how do parents factor into this journey into the future? We are responsible to provide the fuel which will cause the flame in this ignited future to burn fiercely, not just to flicker. We have responsibilities. We are parents, we have to be prepared to contribute to the school's future, to the school's success by providing support, by being cooperative, by providing love, fun learning, by having pride, determination. We are to be parents that our school will boast of. Today, the PTA extends congratulations to the teaching and non-teaching staff for 65 years of distinction. And I ask you parents, those of you present today, to please extend a lusty round of applause for this distinction. And I speak, as I said, on behalf of the PTA, so I have to mention our hardworking parents. Miss also alluded to that. Congratulations to all our parents of this school. Congratulations to all the parents of our recently graduated SCA students, and in particular, for the 9 students who placed in the top 200. Now, I don't know how many of you know, but we have a mandate, the present parents of the SCA classes, by the Minister of Education himself. We made 9 this year, and he's asking for 15 next year. So we have some work to do with our students. Can we attain that 15 in the year 2020? Congratulations to us all at Avocat Vedic A.P.S. School for a phenomenal 65, and best wishes as we progress towards the ignited years ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Andeline, and we're just going to ask her to stay on stage with us as we present a token of appreciation for her presence and the work of the PTA here with us at the Avocat Vedic School over the years. And the presentation will be done by Ms. Reshma Danraj. As we move on with the greetings today, the next speaker I met on the field of battle, not literal battle, but in terms of cricket and football. And he was an outstanding player, and he still looks fit enough to run a 90 minutes or bowl a 10-over spell. This gentleman brought a technical excellence to the sports that he played that was so high that he was, when you played on the same team as him, you wanted him to be on your team. But when he was on the opposition team, we absolutely hated him. But he's a wonderful gentleman, and I'm glad to know that he's taken this love for technical expertise and that wonderful that wonderful sense of skill that he brought to sports whenever he played, that he's also brought it to his new career in politics. Please welcome the man who serves as the counselor for Mondesi, Mr. Derek Boren.
Yeah, I know I'm the only person that left the mic for the night, you know. Pleasant good night. Namaste, everyone. Protocol already established, but I must, of course, extend good night to my Member of Parliament, Dr. Lakram Bodo, and my other colleague in politics, Dr. Sir Jatan Rambajan. Good night. Namaste. You know, when I got the invitation to attend this function, it followed this sentence. I know you're busy, but try now. But, you know, I must be here. This is a school that's very, very close to my heart. I grew up not too far from the school, actually. I grew up right at Avocat there. And the one thing I wanted to mention, you know, is what has changed in this school over the years that I've seen. And I want to read something I read here, which really depicts exactly what I was thinking about. Trinidad has many Vedic schools, but Avocat Vedic is unique. We are a community. That is so profound because of the fact that when I was growing up at Avocat, when you talk about the Vedic school, you would assume it's for people in St. John Trace and Akbar Trace. You know, it was deemed that, per se. And over the years, with the various changes in principles and various things that happened, the school has really matured. And I commend those persons responsible for that sort of initiative. You know, I have a nephew who comes to school here, and I sit outside here, and I hear him. The 2 nephews, they line me, and he tell them, Namah Shiva. So I look at him like that. I said, where you learn that? He said, I mean, we learned in school, man. So it just goes to show, you know, when I come to functions and I see diverse children that attend this school, it makes me proud. You know, all the academic achievement that this school would have achieved really is little as compared to that, in my opinion. So I want to congratulate all the teachers, both past and present, for that sort of initiative. Usually I'm asked, you know, why Avocat Vedic School do so good and there's a little building. You know, and I always tell people that's the reason why they do good. Because it's so small that everybody's being controlled very easily. You know? And that's a good thing, Pandit. I know you want to extend way back to the back here, but I think the site of the school serves the purpose. I want to congratulate all past teachers, past principals for the work that they have done to make this school what it is today. But I also want to pay special homage to the parents. I am so fascinated every time I come here to any function to see the amount of parents that attend. I came to a PTA meeting one day here and the place was full. Usually I go to PTA meetings, I have about 4 or 5 parents. So I want to commend all the parents, guardians. I see some grandfathers will be here. Congratulations to you all. You all are the people that have made this school what it is over the last 65 years. And I am so, so proud to be a part of this community and to be your counselor. And I pledge my commitment to you, principal, and all the students and members of staff for any future development. Congratulations and best wishes as you go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Derek. And of course, Derek will kindly stay on for a small presentation to be made to him.
That's why I like to come here too. I always come back with a present.
And of course, the presentation will be done by Mr. Bechan. And thank you very much, Derek, once again. And Derek, of course, will be running once again for the Mondesi seat, I understand, in the upcoming elections. The young lady who is about to perform for you is a past student. As you've seen, it's a theme that runs throughout the show this evening. Many of the performers and, of course, those who are speaking to you this evening are past students of the Avocat Vedic School, which definitely shows the connection that Avocat Vedic School has to the community, the surrounding community here. This young lady finished in 5th place in the nationwide Independence Local Classical Singing Competition. She was the youngest performer and the only female in the top 5. Tonight, she will play for you 2 classical items, and she will be playing her harmonium accompanied by Pandit Shiva Basdeo on the dholak. And Jivan, I hope I got that right, Jivan Maharaj will also be accompanying her tonight. So please welcome a past student of the Avocat Vedic School, Victoria Maharaj.
विधि का खेल समान समझो जो हरि बाजी जी दिखाए उस खिलाड़ी से भय करो उस खिलाड़ी से भय करो जो सारे विश्व में ईश्वर कहलाए
Let's hear it once again for Victoria Maharaj. And Victoria accompanied by Pandit Shiva Basdeo on the Dolak and Kivan Maharaj on the Dantal. And Victoria, we would want to ask you if you could please stay on stage with us. Victoria, if you don't know already, finished in 3rd place at the 2012 SEA exam. So she was one of the outstanding students from Avocat Vedic School back in 2012 in the SEA exams. And her teacher, Miss Nadine, was here, and she's very happy to be here with us once again. And Miss Nadine is going to do a presentation to a past student, Victoria Maharaj. We'd like to invite now, as we continue with the greetings here tonight at the 65th anniversary of the Avocat Vedic School, the man who presides over the A.P.S. board. Please welcome him at this time to address you, Mr. Roshan Parasram Singh.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman, principals and members of staff, Member of Parliament for Faizabad, officials of the Ministry of Education, President of the PTA, guest speaker, distinguished guests, a pleasant namaste. Let me take this opportunity to recognize and welcome Mr. Roger Ramlakan, Principal of Picton Presbyterian. Welcome, sir. On behalf of the Executive and School Board of Management of the Arya Pratinidhi Sabha of Trinidad, I am pleased to bring 65th anniversary greetings to one of our beloved institutions, the Avocat Vedic School. The A.P.S. of Trinidad is in existence since 1910, 109 years, and was incorporated in 1943. The A.P.S. is the first Hindu organization to be established legally in Trinidad and also to construct primary schools in this country. As a matter of fact, within a short period of time, the founding fathers established 9 Vedic primary schools. It is important to note that the Montrose Vedic School was the first Hindu school to be established as a government-assisted primary school. On this special occasion, it is important to acknowledge, firstly, the visionaries and pioneers of the Vedic community of Avocat, who dreamt of establishing a Vedic school in this community. Today we praise the collective effort of our forefathers who has laid the foundation for us to follow, celebrating our past, igniting our future. Approximately 70 years ago, the vision all started with a few families. Leading the way was Pandit Parasram Singh, the first Arya Samaj religious leader in the district of Avocat, Mr. Dipchand Mahato, Mr. Jai Gobind, Mr. Siram Singh, Mr. Jairam Singh, Mr. Prasad, and Mr. Mahadev Jagmohan, to name a few. It is ironic that teaching of Hindi, discussion of Vedic philosophy, and Havan started right here, and it was, as fate would have it, the obvious decision to ensure continuity of what our forefathers started, that a school should be erected on this very spot. These families were able to motivate the entire community that had a shared vision and common goal. The key individuals were by no means rich, but they were big at heart and had unwavering commitment that was second to none. In 1954, the late Mr. Dipchand Mahato donated the parcel of land on which the school stands today. He must be remembered for his generosity on this auspicious occasion. And Pandit Parasram Singh, who was the owner of a well-known and recognized lumberyard in Saparia Old Road, and the rest is history. The Sabha take the opportunity to recognize the effort of the many who voluntarily toiled physically to build this institution, and those who went cap in hand to beg for financial assistance to purchase materials and labor. The Avocat Vedic School is a notable and outstanding primary school that has had the good fortune of having quality teachers over the years. It has continued to deliver quality education through the dedication of teachers, past and present. The Sabha looks upon the Avocat Vedic School as one of its most outstanding institutions. This reputation, which has been built over the years by committed and dedicated administrators and teachers, past and present, it has sustained a high-quality performance over a prolonged period and can only be done when people are prepared to go the extra mile. It is an invaluable inheritance to be treasured for all times. The Avocat Vedic School is the first choice for parents of the community and beyond. The effort of all members of staff can speak for itself, and this serves as a tribute. The Sabha has been fortunate to have had the service of such persons over the years. The A.P.S. School Board of Management commend the staff, especially the Standard 5 teachers, for excellence in the SCA 2019 results. A job well done. The principal, Ms. Nirmala Merhu, and staff, teaching and non-teaching, continue to fulfill their mandate given to them by the School Board of Management, and we profess our continued support so that the Avocat Vedic School will grow from strength to strength. I commend the present hardworking members of staff and the principal on maintaining the very high standards this institution is noted for. Some may not be aware of it, but one of the pillars upon which the success of the Avocat Vedic School is built is our rich culture. Daily chanting of mantras and weekly havan. This was so in the beginning, it is so today, and I have every reason to believe it will be so in the future. It would be remiss of me not to mention the wonderful cooperation the school receives from parents through the PTA, the Member of Parliament, and the relevant stakeholders. As a board, we do acknowledge the invaluable contribution made by all stakeholders. On behalf of the Area Pratinidhi Sabha of Trinidad, once more congratulations on all your success to date and best wishes for continued excellence in the future. The A.P.S, through its School Board of Management, pledges its continuous support to the Avocat Vedic School and the community that we are privileged to serve. It is my fervent wish that God will continue to bless all of you and your families with good health, peace, prosperity, and happiness. Namaste and thank you.
Thank you very much, Roshan. And please stay with us on the stage as we have a short presentation to Mr. Roshan Parasram-Singh, the president of the Area Pratinidhi Sabha. And this presentation will be done by Ms. Tanuja Debans Birju. Thank you very much again, Roshan, and thank you very much, Tanuja, for assisting us with the presentation of this award. As we mentioned earlier, a lot of past students have already made their way up, and our next speaker is also a past student, and a very special one, because if you want a little trivia, he's actually the first medical doctor, the first man to qualify as a medical doctor that came through the Avocat Vedic School. So that's a piece of history in itself. Please welcome him. He is the Member of Parliament for Faizabad, Dr. Lakram Bodu.
Thank you very much, Chairman of the evening's proceedings. The very remarkable past student of this school, Mr. Vidya Ramphal, President of the A.P.S. Board, Mr. Roshan Parasram-Singh, other members of the A.P.S. Board, representative from the Ministry of Education, Mr. Anthony Ramjit, Principal Nirmala Mirhu, past principals who are here, Mr. Surendaniram, other principals, members of staff, councillor for the area, Mr. Derek Boren, my colleague in the Parliament, Member of Parliament for Tabakit and former government minister and guest speaker this evening, ladies and gentlemen, all namaste. I must say it is a great privilege and I feel honored and I'm very happy, Nirmala, to have been invited to this, my old school, and to be here tonight. As we were sitting here this evening, Dr. Ramachan and myself and Pandit Daniram were just reflecting on the fact that this year in the Vedic schools, of the 9 Vedic schools, there were 24 places in the first 200, and 9 of those first places came from this very Avocat Vedic school. But what is remarkable about that achievement is that, we went on to calculate that of the 9 schools, the total of about 500 students, correct me if I'm wrong, Suran, a total of about 500 students would have written the SCA from the 9 schools out of 19,000 children who write the SCA every year. So when we look at that success rate, it is indeed a very remarkable success rate, and I think one that is to be commended and to be encouraged. And again, I congratulate you, principal, and your staff. But again, that kind of success does not only come from the teachers and the staff, it also comes from the community. And I have to endorse the comments of the councillor who spoke earlier, because this school has always been very well supported by the community. And of course, I want to recognize the president of the Parent Teachers Association and to thank you and to commend you for the job that you and your predecessors would have done over the years, and to encourage you to do that. So 65 is very special in the life of any organization, in the life of any individual. And as I reflected on the reason for the success, my memory took me back. And, when principal invited me, I went into my box of documents. I keep very important documents in that box, including all kinds of big certificates that I've acquired over the years and so on. But I was able to pull out one document that, made me emotional, because I realized that if it wasn't for this document, which reflects my record here at the Avocat Vedic School, and you could see, it's an old document, you could see the dog hairs and everything in it, right? I tried to straighten it out. It's fallen apart, but it's a treasured document because I value this document more than all the big degrees and so on that I received. And I say that because if I hadn't gotten the foundation I got in this school, then I may not have been, the reasonably successful person that I am today. So just bear with me, because I just want to go back a little bit, if you would bear with me, to show, this is a report from the 29th of July, 1966. That's a long time ago. In those days, you had arithmetic, reading, I wouldn't call them the marks. Well, I just still calling these subjects. Arithmetic, reading, recitation, English grammar, composition, mental maths. Sorry, they call it mental arithmetic. Sorry. Spelling, handwriting, health education, arts and crafts. So those are the subjects that were taught in those days. And as I say this, I want to pay tribute to my teacher at that time, Mr. Gaidian Sahadev, teacher Boise, as you would remember, and Principal Bikram Sahu was my principal. But I went through this document, and what I also realized, I was getting top marks all the time, coming out first. And the only comment I seen was good. Good. I wasn't getting no very good and thing, right? So I was getting a bit concerned. But then I realized that my teacher wanted to make sure that my head didn't swell. He probably wanted to make sure that I kept my feet planted on the ground to reach standard 5, to make sure, that I kept working harder to achieve the top. And principal, the last record here would be from the school teacher, and that was the last term when I wrote the SCA. And before I tell you what is written here, in the SCA in those days, that was 1969 when I wrote, 28 children write that year, and 14 of us passed. In those days, not everybody would pass. So 14 of us passed, and one of us went to Naparima College, and one went to IRE. In those days, it was a big school. To get a presentation in those days was a hard thing. So we did very well in those days. And when I look at the remarks here, the teacher has written for the first time, very good. And he says, NB, note, good prospects ahead. Encourage him to keep up the good work. Well-behaved boy. So that was, that was the comment I got in 1969. So, of course, I was very grateful, for Small Mercies. But I just make that point to illustrate to you that this school indeed provided an excellent foundation. So I want to congratulate everyone who is part of this school, all of those who over the years have contributed. As a member of parliament, you sometimes would expect that the schools in your community would call upon you to give you various things. The only trouble that this school has given me is when parents come to the office and say, please call the principal because they want to get their child into Avocat Vedic school. So that is the only problem I get from this school as a member of parliament, the high demand of parents to get their children into this school. But I also say that because this school is very self-sufficient and is able to achieve and to engage the community in a very meaningful way to get things done without having to, often burden official authorities and so on. Never mind, principal, you're free to call me anytime and to ask for any resources and any assistance that is required. So I join with you all today in celebrating. I congratulate you on a remarkable achievement, and I urge you to continue to do the good work, and I wish everyone, the school, everyone here today, and the students to come in the future, all the very, very best. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bodo. And please stay with us on stage, Dr. Bodo. We have a short presentation to you, which will be done by Ms. Madhuri Singh. And of course, what commitment to maintain and to keep that report card for so long. Wonderful effort indeed. I think my parents burnt all of mine. They were so bad. I'm not talking about years after. I'm talking about a day after they came out. Thank you again, Doctor, and thank you very much, Ms. Madhuri, for assisting us with that presentation. We're very, very happy to be represented by two officials from the Ministry of Education today. I know both of these gentlemen from their alternate roles in cricket. Of course, they serve wonderful roles in cricket at primary and secondary level. And our speaker today, Mr. Anthony Ramjet, is also a broadcaster himself, broadcasting. He has a cricket and a football program also, I think he would have done also. And in addition to that, he's also served as manager of several national cricket teams. His heart is certainly in cricket, but his heart is also firmly planted in education. And he speaks to us in that capacity today as a representative of the Ministry of Education. Please welcome the school supervisor to Mr. Anthony Ramjet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, my good friend, Mr. Ramphal. I know you have already established the protocol, but I can't, my minister wouldn't forgive if I didn't recognize at least the distinguished members of the head table, or the members sitting at the front. Of course, my member of parliament and the future speaker, Dr. Surajratan Rambachan, the member of parliament for Faizabad, Dr. Lakram Bodo, Pandit Daniram. I don't know how many of you knew that he was also involved in cricket. One time he was where's Mr. Ramphal? That's another piece of trivia, right? The General Secretary of the TTCB at some point in time. Of course, our school principal, Ms. Nirmala Meru, my colleague in school supervision, Mr. Ian Ramlal, the representative of the A.P.S. board, president of the A.P.S. board, Mr. Paras Ramsingh, the representative of the PTA, all the high achievers who are to be awarded this evening, our parents. I recognize some principals of other schools present with us also, and other distinguished persons present with us this evening. It's really a privilege for me to bring greetings on behalf of the Ministry of Education at this evening of excellence. Well, I call it an evening of excellence. And when I bring greetings from the Ministry of Education, I bring greetings on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Education, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, the Chief Education Officer, the Permanent Secretary, and the Director of School Supervision, the school supervisors of the St. Patrick Education District. Your principal told you just now that anniversary is really about reflecting, but it's a bit more than that. And I am sure she will listen to me because she always do. It is more than that. Anniversaries gives us the opportunity to reflect, yes, but also to celebrate. And of course, to plan the way forward. Therefore, as the school community of the Avocat Vedic Primary School celebrates today its 65th anniversary, I just want to urge you, as the other speakers would have, to reflect. And I think Dr. Bodo did a good job of that in bringing out that report book. I asked Dr. Rambachan to take a picture of the inside because we wanted to see the marks, right? All right, but it's really a part of history. And we need to really reflect. And in reflecting, I think I am not going to, one of the things the principal probably expect of me is to read out the achievements of this school, but it's in there, in your programs. And one of the achievements, of course, I didn't know how this happened. It's only when I heard it was the 65th anniversary, I recognized that something divine was happening. Because the minister, and I wouldn't go, of course I can't go against my honorable minister, who he put forward a challenge. In 2017, I had put forward a challenge to the school, and the teachers will recall that at the office downstairs, that we have to produce more students in the top 200, and we also have to, they were promising me in the top 10, 5 students. So that challenge remains, right? But in reflecting, of course, Dr. Bodo, you said that, well, it was Mr. Parashram saying, 24 students out of, right, 24 students out of in the top 200 from the Vedic schools. And in the St. Patrick Education District, it was just a little less. We had 22 students in the top 200 from the St. Patrick Education District, and 9 came from Avocat Vedic School. So, and might I say, 4 came from the Diana Memorial Vedic School. So 13 students out of the 22 students in the St. Patrick Education District that had 1,918 students writing the examination came from the 2 Vedic schools in the St. Patrick Education District. So the Ministry of Education really want to recognize the contribution that the school is making in that regard. But when you read through that the school was also able to win nationally the kiddie cricket competition, and yesterday, just yesterday, I tell you it's something divine that's happening here, maybe for the celebration of the 65th anniversary. There are 2 students competed against Grant Memorial Presbyterian School, and I have a little competition with Grant Memorial Presbyterian School, and beat Grant Memorial Presbyterian School for first place in the quiz competition at the cricket nationally. So you're national champions. And I want you to really take a look at this, the fan that you got, because inside of there, you will see all the other achievements that the school were, things that the school was able to achieve. So if we at the Ministry of Education is really talking about holistic development of our children, Avocat Vedic School is really a reflection of that holistic development of our students. And I think that deserves a round of applause because that is the mission of the Ministry of Education. And we want to also recognize the Ministry of Education, that is the contribution of the A.P.S. board. There are 9 schools throughout the country, but more so the 2 schools in the St. Patrick Education District. And we heard about the persons, the pioneers from Mr. Parasram Singh, and we never must forget our past. And Mr. Is it Mahatu, and those persons who would have contributed. The Ministry of Education recognizes those things. We may not always say that, but we recognize the contribution that the A.P.S. board is partnering with us to produce the kind of schools that you are producing. So thank you very much, Mr. Parasram Singh. But as we stand at a very important juncture of the school, we also have to plan the way forward. And the minister would have put out the challenge. And of course, I will continue to enunciate as the ministry's representative here this evening that we continue to provide the equitable access to quality education for all our citizens in this area and the environs of Avocat Vedic, of course, so that we can really produce citizens who will fulfill their full potential, who are disciplined, industrious, creative, and confident. Those are the kinds of persons that we want to produce. And I ask you then, Ms. Meru and the principals, the members of staff, and the parents who have been contributing to continue to work together and let the version of the school that you will teach you, let the version of the school that you are currently comfort you, and let the version of the school that you are still to become inspire you for the next 65. So happy 65th anniversary, Avocat family. And on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Education, the Chief Education Officer, as I said, the Permanent Secretary, the school supervisors of the St. Patrick Education District, it is my pleasure to declare Friday 8th November 2019, a principal's holiday for your achievement. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramjit. I wonder if you could call my employers and ask them if you could give me a holiday also. Mr. Anthony Ramjit, School Supervisor 2, and of course we're doing a presentation to him right now, and Ms. Nalini Ramlakan is doing the presentation. And we'd also like to invite Mr. Ian Ramlal, who also is the line supervisor for the Avocat Vedic School, to receive a token of our appreciation for his presence today. Hi, Ian. Don't forget to smile. And Ian has done a lot of work in primary school cricket and some wonderful work indeed. We'd also like to welcome the principal of the Barakpur Vedic School, one of our sister schools, Mrs. Lisa Bechan. Ms. Bechan, is she here with us today? Yes, could you just stand up, please, so everybody can recognize your presence? Ms. Lisa Bechan, thank you so much for being here with us. And also representing the Presbyterian Board today is Mr. Roger Ramlakan, and Roger is the principal of the Picton Presbyterian School. Roger? I wonder if Roger's inside or if he's outside. Oh, Roger's at the back. There he is. Familiar face. And we'd also like to recognize the presence of the former MP for Faizabad, Pandit Chandresh Sharma, who's here with us today. Nice to see you. And right now, as we're getting ready, this is a cultural item which is going to happen now. And I'm sure you recognize the gentleman who is standing to my left. It may surprise some of you all to know that he is a former teacher here. When he was just about 20 years old, I understand that he was a teacher back in 1966, 67, I think it was, if I remember correctly. Well, he's gone on to do so much more. And in terms of what he's done, it might surprise him to know that back in 2000, when my broadcasting career started, on the first day we stepped into the station, which was a station that no longer exists now, not my fault, Masala Radio 91.1, you all remember that station? That I was handed a CD, and the name of the music was Dreadlocks. Now, when I listened to that particular piece of music, I loved it so much. So I actually kept the CD to make sure that it was the very first song that I played on radio. And that song I did, in fact, play on radio as the very first one. And that one was done by the gentleman who is setting up behind me. He will be accompanied today on the tabla by Vinayak Sankar. And of course, he will be playing some selections for us today.
I taught here in 1968-69. I just met a young fellow in the back there who addressed me as Lasamiti Muela Perende. I used to play a guitar and teach these folk songs. And Michael was one of the students. And so was Chandra Sharma. He was on second standard when I was teaching here. So the song that I'm chosen to play, because they told me I have 10 minutes, so is a song that I composed and I performed while I was teaching at this school. So I selected that song, particularly for that reason. Thank you. But he made the time for his tabla, and he's making a proper study of tabla.
Let's hear it once again for Dr. Mangal Patesa and Vinayak Sankar. And we'll ask both gentlemen to remain on stage with us as a short presentation. I'm sure that this one is going to be done by Varuna Ramnarayan, and a short presentation. And I know that they have a little bit of a work to break down stuff, but if you don't mind, we'll do the presentation just before that. Sure. And Vinayak. Gentlemen, thank you again. Wonderful performance indeed. And during his short address to you, Dr. Patesa mentioned that one of the students that he would have taught in music was the former MP for Faizabad. He's here with us today, and we would like him just to share a few words with us. Please welcome him to the stage right now, Mr. Chandresh Sharma.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I hope you notice it's not only the students who excel, the teachers too. Let's give it for all the teachers who taught us at Vedic School here. 65 years is truly a long time, but the many, many achievements of this school has captured global attention. Our children from this school has gone to many, many countries in major cities. My last count, I think, was about 75, and still growing. So to the parents whose children are here now, this is your best investment. This is a partnership, and you really have to get involved in your children's school life. I just attended the Veda conference at Hilton. One of the things that is emerging is investment in children. And Vedic School has done that very well. We need to encourage our principal, teachers, and the PTA in particular to understand the partnership. I am sure you want to listen to the speaker after me. So, namaste.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharma. And of course, Mr. Sharma, if you don't mind joining us on stage once again, there's a short presentation to you at this time, and Ms. Madhuri will be doing that presentation. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Now, we are up to the time when we introduce our featured speaker. And if I were to tell one of you young people that I'm going to offer you a career, and this is going to be your resume. Your resume includes being a government minister, an ambassador. You're also going to get to become a mayor and the chairman of a regional corporation, as well as a cultural icon. Wouldn't you love to have that particular resume? That is the resume of our speaker, who is also a former student of the Avocat Vedic School. Please welcome the MP for Tabaki Talparo, Dr. Surajratan Rambachan.
Thank you very much, Chairman of tonight's proceedings, a very distinguished gentleman himself. He did us a great favor this afternoon by naming all of the dignitaries who are here this evening. So I want to join him in acknowledging everyone present, including my friend, Dr. Bodo, who sits just behind me in Parliament, Chandresh, and all the representatives of the Ministry of Education, but particularly, Madam Principal, may I express my deepest admiration for your very hard work, your commitment to excellence, and the way that you are managing the staff and students of this particular school. The theme of your celebrations, the 65th anniversary, is appropriately titled Celebrating the Past, Igniting Our Future. I am clear in my mind that you have a most glorious past of life-empowering, life-changing, community-enhancing, national impacts to celebrate. I am so happy that in your theme you use the word our. in the second part of your theme, Igniting Our Future. It shows that you recognize something that the world is beginning to recognize even more, and that is the interdependent nature of our collective existences, and the reality that an economically and environmentally sustainable future will only be possible through active cooperation of all human and non-human forms who share the space on this planet. And I'll ask my dear colleagues in the audience to take a look at the vision, the mission, and the goals of this organization, but particularly the vision and mission statement of this school. And you will see that it reflects the creation, the strategy for creation of a child who in fact will work towards a sustainable and an environmentally sustainable future at that. We share a common space with other creatures, if I may use that word, and other human beings on this planet. And until we recognize our interdependent nature, we will continue to destroy ourselves. Your theme also further recognizes that the world is much smaller than we perceive, and that an incident in one part of the planet is not limited by geography nor physical space. Sahara dust travels across the seas, as do diseases and the impact of melting glaciers. So I commend your universal vision, and I commend it for a reason, in that you are instilling in the minds and hearts of children here that they have a contribution to make beyond Avocat Village. They have a contribution to make to the world. I want to also this evening acknowledge the what I consider very special presentation by Mr. Roshan Parasram Singh, in which he outlined some history that is very, very important. We are not a people who really treasure our history. And I think, Roshan, whenever you are ready to have someone write a book on Avocat Vedic School, I'll be your first contributor in terms of financially supporting that book. We have to write the history of this village. We have to write it. So I want to begin my contribution by expressing our collective gratitude to the founding fathers and mothers, grandfathers and grandmothers, and the multitude of well-wishers whose vision for a strong, vibrant, and educated community made this school a reality. Their vision and sacrifice resulted in the opportunity for the transformation of unlimited human potential into empowered citizens whose lives now make a positive impact in almost all areas of national life, and as Chandra said, even internationally. The Avocat Vedic School was founded in 1954. I came here when I was 5 years old, so that tells you I'm now 70 years old. And it was founded in 1954, but it had its genesis much earlier in the Punjab in the 19th century. Its foundation was in the vision of Swami Dayanand Saraswati, who lived from 1824 to 1883, and who saw education as the key to a new India and a revitalized Hindu tradition. This school is called Avocat Vedic School for an important reason. Swami Dayanand Saraswati wanted to integrate traditional religious study with the study of the sciences. He believed that the earliest scriptures of Hinduism were the Vedas, and that the study of the Vedas was an important way and should be an important part of the curriculum. He wanted students to cultivate both spirituality and learning. He insisted on the right of girls to education. The school has remained faithful to the founding vision of Swami Dayanand Saraswati to be a center of character building and educational excellence, to educate both boys and girls. I was showing to Lakram a few minutes ago a report card dated 2nd of August 1940, and that is 79 years ago. And it was a card from the CM school in Tick Village. And all the marks of this student were above 95, 98 out of 100, 100 out of 100, and so on. And this student was in standard 3. And the She was promoted to Standard 4, and her teacher was Holik Harnarayan. And she told me that her father never sent her into Standard 4. In fact, he took her out and got her married. And she wanted to be a nurse. And she never got the opportunity to be a nurse. And she kept that report card, and I have a copy of it, and that was my mother. And she never became a nurse. But I say that to you in the context of the vision of Swami Dayananda Saraswati and the importance that this school, the important role this school has played in making sure that our girls of this village had an equal opportunity and right to education. And it is very important to me to recognize that, because there is something even so much more interesting about Avocat Vedic School. The 9 schools of the Arya Pratinidhi Sabha, 7 of them have women as principals. 7 women in 7 of the 9 schools. And Ms. Meru is this one here whose strive for excellence represents the excellence of all these 7 women. And if I may just call their names: Indra Birju Daniel, Vijanti Rampasad, Vidya Bechan, Kashmini Dhaniram Gosain, Ranu Jadu, Ranu Maharaj, and Nirmala Maharaj. Meru. He was good as a Maharaj. But nevertheless, I think it's an important point. Important point. Because it shows that the vision of Swami Dayananda Saraswati has come to life in terms of these 7 women running, managing major institutions in which 2,536 children are registered in your schools. That's a statistic I got today. So this school, coming as it did in 1954, gave the opportunity for people to develop their skills and potential and to create better standards of living, but more importantly, a better standard of life. In other words, the advent of this school has meant economic prosperity, the reduction of poverty, and strong individual and family spiritual foundations which continue to manifest in the community of Avocat and remains to a large extent the backbone of the quality of people and citizens who emanate from this village of Avocat. A school like Avocat Vedic has never been for me just a place of learning. Avocat Vedic is an institution of enlightenment and the fulfillment of hope and ambition, the latter which it continues to nourish through the love and commitment of the decades of dedicated teachers who have selflessly given their knowledge and skills in instilling in children faith in themselves, that they are worthy human beings, that they are valuable, and that they can achieve their life goals. It is because of the practice of these noble values by the teachers, supported by the parents, and exemplified by the very brilliant address on behalf of the Parent Teachers Association here this evening, ma'am. Very, very brilliant. That this school stands proud of the number of persons whom it has bequeathed to the nation in all spheres of life. I say this because at the time the school was constructed, rural communities were not treated as equals, as there was more an emphasis on the urban communities and townships. A rural person was made to feel that he or she was of lesser value in the national context. Rural villages were mainly valuable as agricultural assets. And it is in this historical context that we begin to have a greater appreciation of how significant this school was in 1954. Hindus did not have a school of their own. The options were the CM school at the end of Superior Old Road and the South Orupush Government School where I was registered at 5 years old. The risk of religious conversion was high. The possible loss of cultural soul and religious practice as Hindus was also a threat. Hinduism did not have a national space of recognition. This school arrived at an important time in our history. What is even more interesting for me and significant is that all of this was an Arya Samaj school. The Sanatanist Hindus had no compunction, no objection to sending their children to this school. Today, the children and grandchildren will equally attend and participate in activities of the mandirs of both sects. In other countries, there'll be clear lines of demarcation and religious conflict. What an enlightened group of people we are in this country as Hindus and in Avocat. This in itself, for me, is a celebration of 65 years because it shows that a common vision can and does unite minds and hearts. This level of shared respect and understanding gives beauty to our existences and makes us realize the importance of a statement that used to be used by Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. Truth is one, known by different names. This is a school whose vision is excellence, not only in matters of academia, but also as persons practicing to the best of their abilities the best human values. It is not surprising to me, therefore, that this community of Avocat remains peaceful, relatively crime-free compared to other parts of our country, and where culture and religious traditions engulf the lives of residents in Avocat and environs. This school may not be given the pride of place it deserves in the sustainability of the East Indian and Hindu cultural traditions, but for those of us who know this school's history, the foundations for Diwali being a national event were laid right here at Avocat Vedic School. Avocat Vedic School, in my view, was the cause of Diwali being declared a national holiday in Trinidad and Tobago. It was, in fact, something of great value. It is a history that has to be written because, as I said earlier, we are people short in memory and in the importance of our history. Across the world, but especially in the USA and Canada, you will find that wherever a child of Avocat Vedic has settled, they are involved in some form of religious and cultural activity. Avocat Vedic must be considered a cultural cradle. It is of immense interest to me that the Vedic schools in Trinidad are such high-performance institutions, given that the number of persons actually practicing as Arya Samajas form one of the smallest groups of Hindus in the country. What it does show is that a focused vision and commitment to a cause is blessed by the unseen universal forces. Education of people frees them from mental inhibitions and from being enslaved by a feeling of inferiority. This cause of freeing people through education is a just cause, is a noble cause, and must always be pursued. This school must never be seen as a physical building. It is a place where freedom is being bestowed upon people. The maxim, knowledge is freedom, holds true eternally. This is our cause at Avocat Vedic. And such a noble cause and those who fight for it will never be defeated. But it is not only a cause for the leaders within the school. It must be a community cause, supported by the parents across generations, and not only for the 5 years our children are within these compounds. This is why this celebration is also important, because it gives us to look across generations and to see that the success of an institution depends on the relationship it has with its community. Dr. Boda put it very beautifully in saying that the community continues to support this school. But that happens because the community recognizes what has happened to the children and their lives across the generations. Had it not been for Avocat Vedic School, had it not been for a subject during the time I went here called civics, had it not been for the fact that there was a teacher here, Prabhudev Maharaj, who used to make sure that you bought a Guardian newspaper every day and brought it to the class, perhaps I would never have been a politician. You never know what the seeds are sown in the classrooms here until you reflect and you come to realize how deep these things have impacted upon your life. My brothers and sisters, our compelling national challenge at this juncture in time is to create worthy citizens and safe communities. We must win the battle that is raging for the minds and bodies of our children. The values of this school, if they do not become the values of the home, will lead to a defeat of the ideals of the school and derail the beauty of the community as a whole. This is why a strong parent-school relationship, a partnership, is essential to a school carrying out its mandate of creating citizens who would add positive value to the nation. You will recognize that the only thing of importance at the end of the day is how much positive value you have added to the lives of others by your existence. And this school is creating citizens who are adding positive value to the lives of others. Yes, the children of this school will pass examinations. They will secure places in secondary schools and universities. They will become contributors in all walks of life. But will they be good citizens? Citizenship is our primary purpose. Citizenship for me denotes ownership of one's community and country, and the proactive taking of action to stem the tide of moral decay that is apparent all around us. This is not going to be possible unless the school is supported in its pivotal goal of developing citizenship. Avocat Vedic has produced and will continue to produce great citizens of distinction and national purpose. Our children are growing up in a very difficult environment. The values we teach them in the school are challenged in the public space and even in the homes, some of which are like war zones. Our children are in protected environments in the school, but they are largely protected outside of the school. Their protection is not a direct responsibility of the teachers. Teachers are not surrogate parents. Teachers are gurus. They are learned, and their lives reflect their learning and what they teach, and they are capable of teaching. Parents cannot and must never delegate the task of parenting to teachers nor to grandparents. Today, people are giving birth to children, but are they parenting them? Today, there are too many cases of broken homes, and as a result, too many single mothers and single fathers. What is the reason for this? I am not making a value judgment, but an important observation of a trend which I find personally disturbing. Fortunately, and I say fortunately twice and thrice, in this community of Avocat, there are strong marriages, there are strong families, and strong community values and support systems. These are required for the success of our children. But I do find, however, the children in this community are not being sufficiently organized into exciting activities outside of the school environment. A lot is being done, and I recognize it. The Ramlila celebrations, the cricket clubs, and so on, and you're seeing the value of that in the achievements of the school. But I think that both parents and religious leaders must reassess what is happening and make amends to turn the many institutions, including the mandirs, into institutions which continue to mold character following the 5 years of academic and personal development at Avocat Vedic. With an education, you'll make a living, but not necessarily make a life. With character, you will live more joyously and with gratitude. My point is simple. The community, through its many other institutions, must become an extension of the Avocat Vedic School. I wish to close by reminding ourselves of some of the principles laid down by the founder of the Arya Samaj movement. All acts, he said, should be performed in accordance with dharma, that is, after deliberating what is right and wrong. The prime object of the Arya Samaj is to do good to the world, that is, to promote physical, spiritual, and social good of everyone. Our conduct towards all should be guided by love, righteousness, and justice. We should dispel ignorance and promote knowledge. No one should be content with promoting his or her good only. On the contrary, one should look for his or her good in promoting the good of all. And finally, one should regard oneself under restriction to follow the rules of society calculated to promote the well-being of all, while in following the rules of individual welfare, all should be free. Madam Principal, I thank you for this opportunity. I was here for your 50th, I was here for your 60th, I'm here for your 65th. And I hope I'll be here when you celebrate 75. I'll be 80 then, but I'm going to be blessed to be here. God is good. So may that loving God bless this great institution, bless everyone who has contributed to it. Principal, staff, past and present, and all students who form this community that we call Avocat Vedic School. Namaste.
Thank you very much. Let's hear it once again for Dr. Surajratan Rambachan. His addresses are always wonderful, and he is an ocean of wisdom. Thanks so much for sharing your words with us. We have a short presentation to him, and this will be done by the principal herself, Nirmala Meru. We have a dance for you at this time, and this perfectly exemplifies what he's saying of Avocat Vedic School as a cradle of culture. The Avocat Vedic dance group will perform for you at this time. The dance group, which was formed just about 2 years ago, is composed of present students and past students, and they have been assembled under the tutelage of another past student, a student who is, I understand, a second-generation student of this school. Her mom and I were in the same class here many years ago. Please welcome the Avocat Vedic dance group led by Abigail Mansingh Udit.
Hare
Thank you very much, young ladies. And we'd like to invite to the front now the group leader, that's Abigail Mansingh Udit. There's a short presentation to her, which will be done by Miss Priya Jairam Singh. Thank you very much, Ms. Priya, and of course, congratulations and thank you very much to Abigail for your sterling work with the young ladies, which continues weekly here at the school. We now have a lot of awards to hand out. During the last award ceremony 4 years ago, I remember I would have handed out, we would have done a lot of awards from that time period. Over the last 5 years, the school has accomplished so much. So without further ado, let me introduce the man to take you through this segment of the program. These are the Excellence at SEA 2015 to 2019. Please welcome your presenter, Mr. Rajesh Jagmohan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, children, when the decision was taken to celebrate our 65th anniversary, many ideas came about, and one way which was decided upon was honoring past pupils who have achieved excellence at the pinnacle of their academic endeavors. And for this, we are indeed proud. And in turn, their accolades bestowed on them serve as an inspiration to us all, in that we are doing something right. Our first recipients are those who achieved excellence at SEA and have made it to the top 100. This is a fantastic feat in itself. We will start with the year 2015. I ask Ms. Maduri to join us on stage. I now invite Naveel Suku, who will receive an award for his achievement. Thank you very much, Miss. Thank you, Naveel. Kivan Maharaj. I now invite Miss Nadine to make this presentation. I think, Miss, you remember Nivan quite smaller than that. Next will be Devayo Ramsamuj. I invite Miss Nisha to make this presentation. Devayo. I also invite Leah Phillip. In the absence of Mr. Debaran, Ms. Nisha will make this presentation. Leah. Thank you so much. I now invite Mr. Jairam Singh to the stage, to center stage. I now invite Michael Bipat on stage. Michael. Thank you very much, Michael. Kavisha Leewing, better known as Emma among her friends. Next, we have Simran Ramnath, daughter of the principal, and Miss quite proud of that. We now have Amisha Bodo. Amisha, come forward. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. That was their class teacher in 2016. We now move on to 2017, Nikash Basdev. Unfortunately, he's absent. I will ask Vishal Parasram Singh to accept this award on his behalf. Yeah, I'll call it now. I ask Sadhna Rupchan to come forward, and Sir Dave will make this presentation also. Miss Nadine will make the next presentation to Alia Maharaj. Thank you very much, Alia. Thank you very much, Miss. And now for 2019, this year, I now invite Miss Madhuri to center stage. And I ask Josh Jibod Singh to come forward. Rahul Kisun. Zara Mohammed. And Verinda Rampasad. Miss Madhuri was a A.P.S teacher for 2019 SCA students. Thank you very much, Miss. I now call on Miss Nadine. Just to mention, Verinda Rampasad was first place in mental maths this year. We congratulate him on that achievement also. Calling Jasan Daniram on stage. His grandfather is also here. Welcome, sir. I see Jason is all dressed up for the occasion. Next, Christian Ramsaran. Next, we have Sir Vishal Parasramsingh, who will make the next set of presentations. Omanan Dev Prasad. Luke Kinu. Luke Kinu. Then we have Sayan Lakan. Thank you, sir. Yeah, and let's give a special round of applause to the teachers who have made their various presentations for the various years. We thank you so much indeed. We have a pause in the awards now, and I now invite our MC to take us through the next item.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagmohan. You can take over my job any day. I'm not available. So if I can't do the regional Super 50 next week, I'm going to check Raj to come and take my place there. Thank you very much. We do have some more awards coming up. There are still awards for the Scotiabank Kiddie Cricket, all the games, the quizzes that were won by the school, plus the Ministry of Labour poster competition. All of that is coming up. Right now, we do have a cultural item to present to you. And this one is another young lady who would have been in my class. It seems that everyone in my class, except for me, had some talent. Well, anyway, her son is now in the school. He is in Standard 5 at this time. And this young lady, even when she was in my class, she was always interested in musical instruments. And in 2010, she went on to win a competition called the Nationwide Mouth Organ Competition. Out of that win, she was able to produce a CD. And that CD, she is doing a medley of songs from that CD. And she was the only female competitor and, of course, the winner of the competition. Please welcome to present a medley of songs from her CD, Taramati Maharaj.
Namaste, everyone. So it's my honor and pleasure to perform for you tonight. Thank you very much, Miss, for inviting me. let me get you clap. Come on. Come on, let's go. Come on. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again. Taramati Maharaj, instrumental, of course, played items played from her 2010, her CD, in fact, which came out of that 2010 National Mouth Organ Competition win. And a wonderful talent indeed. She's been all over the media in all of the different competitions. And there is a presentation to Taramati at this time. We would like to ask Ms. Debbie Dipchan to do the presentation to Taramati. Right, so thanks again to Debbie and to Taramati. More awards coming your way. The Scotiabank Kiddie Cricket, a lot of success to celebrate for Avocat Vedic School. Let me see who are the Kiddie Cricket winners. Let me see them again. All right, you'll be seeing these enthusiastic young men on stage in just a little bit. Your presenter once again is Mr. Rajesh Jagmohan.
We continue with the awards, and these recipients are the scholarship winners at Cape level. They would have won open and additional scholarships. Our first recipient, Devendra Lalji, and I call on our line supervisor, Mr. Ian Ramlal, to assist us. In his absence, his mom will collect for him. Thank you very much for being with us. Karishma, can you come forward, please? Thank you very much, Ms. Lalji. Arnold Rampasad is the next recipient. Unfortunately, he's not here. His uncle, Sunil Rampasad, will collect on his behalf. Thank you very much. Our next recipient, Varun Ramadhar. Unfortunately, he's not here also. His sister, Jivana Ramadhar, will collect on his behalf. next recipient, Vediana Sharma. Thank you very much, Vediana. Our next recipient, Justin Armugam. Unfortunately, he's absent also. I'll ask Miss Nadine to collect on his behalf. Our next recipient, Idris Abdul. His dad, Nazim Abdul, will collect on his behalf. Next, Shashri Dudnath Singh. Next recipient, Navila Suku. Navil will collect on her behalf. Thank you very much. Our next category is Scotiabank Kiddie Cricket 2019 National Winners. First, we have Keshav Mongru. Then we have Kiran Misr Mohammed. Jivanan Devpasad. Justin Gopal. Jaden Siratan. Then we have Amira Ali. Nityam Mongru. Unfortunately, he's not here. I'll ask Keshav to receive this award on his behalf. Iran Chun. Right. I will ask Jadan Siratan to accept this award on his behalf. Cherise Singh. And Ophelia Khanna. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it was a mixed team, and they were very athletic indeed and outperformed the rest of schools. The Scotiabank Kiddie Cricket 2019 Quiz National winners, I call upon Keshav Mongru, Abhilash Lachman is not here. I will ask Emma to collect on his behalf. Then we have Jivanan. Come forward, please, Jivanan. Jivanan Devpasad. As you can see, size is no indication of talent, but they really put their heart and mind and soul into whatever they were doing, and they got the right support, and we are indeed proud of them. Let's give those recipients another round of applause. Our next award goes to the is in the category of the Ministry of Labor and Small Enterprise Development, poster and essay competition on the future of work. Our second place winner is Caitlin Yipnow. Caitlin. And her daddy is on stage doing a fantastic job. I will ask the secretary of the PTA, Ms. Andeline, to assist us. Thank you very much, our line supervisor, Mr. Ramlal, for assisting us. Thank you very much, Ms. Rackbear. Our next category is NGC Sandfest 2019, 49th Annual National Junior Arts Festival, drumming category, first place winners. I will ask Pandit Daniram to assist us on stage. Tristan Butkun. Ethan, please come forward. Ethan, Rennie, Jaden, Javan, Jaden. Now, TASA has really taken the school by storm, and there are a lot of children. Next, we have Ethan Jitman Singh. Reni Supasad. Javan Harrington. And last but not least, Jaden Ramsundar. Right, he's not here. Jaden Mahabir. Thank you very much, boys. we have added a category this year to honor our retirees of our school. They have, through the years, maintained contact and has contributed in one way or another to the success of our school. We would like to invite the President of the Arya Pratinidhi Sabha, Shri Roshan Parasram Singh, on stage. Our first recipient, Pandit Surendra Daniram, who will receive a small token of appreciation on our behalf. Thank you very much, Pandit. Next, Mr. Harinarayan Siram Singh, retired Vice Principal. Then we have Ms. Kalauti Siram Singh. Being ably assisted by Mr. Siram Singh. Then we have Ms. Lilauti K. Ramjit. Yes, sir, you are doing a fine job. You can remain there. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Miss. Then we have Mrs. Tatri Molly Singh. Unfortunately, she's not here. She's down with the virus. Next, we'll have Miss Pulmati Daniram. Thank you very much, Miss. Miss Rajday Bale. Thank you, Master Jasan. Yes, Miss Bale, you all can pick anyone. Where's Kiran? Oh. Thank you very much, Miss. Then we have Miss Prakashwati Bhagan. Watch, Miss, the gangri might throw you down, careful. Thank you very much, Mr. Roshan Parasram Singh. Thank you very much, Miss. I just want to mention that we are indeed honored and privileged to still have our retirees with us here today. I'd also like to recognize Ms. Ambika Jaimangal Singh, who taught many years at this institution. Thank you for being present with us here this morning. Let's give those recipients a round of applause, for they have all indeed done us very proud. I now pass you on to the chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jagmohan. We're rapidly coming to the end of the program. There's a final cultural item to share with you at this time. As you know, as part of the Avocat Vedic School and the cultural cradle that it is, they've achieved so much with the TASA group. Second place at the Republic Bank TASATAL in 2018. In 2018-2019, they also finished in third place in the Republic Bank TASATAL. And these are just some of the achievements of the TASA group. Tonight, the group that will be performing for you will consist of current students of the Avocat Vedic School, plus some past students who now comprise the St. John's Trace and the Akbar Trace TASA groups. It's my great pleasure to welcome them to you now. They are led by Shivan Ramjatan and Shivam Butkun. Please welcome the Avocat Vedic School TASA group.
Take care.
There you are, ladies and gentlemen, perfectly exemplifying today's motto, celebrating our past, igniting our future, the link between the past and present, between the TASA men past and present, the Avocat Vedic School TASA group. Wonderful performance indeed, and certainly a fitting way to bring an end to today's ceremony. Thank you very much for being here. We do have the vote of thanks, but before I introduce the gentleman to do the vote of thanks, I'd like to say thank you very much to the school for having me here once again. And Madam Principal, in 5 years' time, if you do need me again, I will be very well available for that. So now to do an appreciation for this evening's function, a lot of small cogs make up what has happened here today. Today's function would not be possible without the work of so many people. And to do the acknowledgement and the appreciation now, please welcome Mr. Rabindranath Bechan.
Namaste, everyone. Before I begin, there's two small presentations to be made. These two boys, past pupils, we still call them boys, these two boys, past pupils, have led our TASA side for the last couple of years, for the last 2 years, and we are having a little bit of a problem now because all the little boys are taping up their pencils with tape, and every lunchtime and recess time we have to pull them away from the classroom because they are beating up the table. All of them want to join. So I present to you Shivan and Shivam to be presented with an appreciation award from the Avocat Vedic School. And Ms. Nisha will do the presentation for us. It is at this point in the program that we express sentiments of gratitude and expression of thanks. Firstly, to God Almighty, without whom this function would not at all be possible. Those who brought greetings, the PTA Secretary, Miss, I like your mandate, 10 plus from 2020 and beyond. 10 plus meaning 10 plus in the top 200 and beyond. Councillor Boring, who always supports us, who is always here for us. He has not missed a function in the last 3 or 4 years, if memory serves me correct. The president of the A.P.S. Sir, with that history and combination with Dr. Rambachan, awesome talent there. And you should take him up on his offer so that we could have a history of the Avocat Vedic School in writing. MP Bodo, as usual, sir, it's lightning to have you here. And to know that you kept that keepsake from Avocat Vedic School, it means quite a lot to everyone present here. And the mere fact that you said that you appreciate it more than any other of your documents, even your hardest earned degree, means quite a lot. Mr. Ramchit, SS2, who has led us for the past couple of years. We always appreciate his wisdom, his understanding, his advice. To Mr. Ramlal, he has been with us for as long as we could remember. In fact, last year, before SEA, before we gained his fantastic passes, he used to visit us on a weekly basis. Every time you look outside your window, you would see Mr. Ramlal there guiding us and giving us the knowledge and the understanding so that we will be able to perform well. And we did, and we thank Mr. Ramlal for that. To our featured speaker, Dr. Rambachan. When the committee met and said that we would ask him to do the 65th anniversary feature address, I met him one day by accident on the road, and I asked him, and without hesitation, he said yes. He said, drop me a note, send me an email, and I will be there. Dr. Rambachan has provided us with a rich history of our school. What he failed to say is he was transferred from South Oropouche at 7, records show that he was transferred from South Oropouche at 7 years, 10 months. And his mother registered him here as Suraj, according to our records. So it's important. He gave some history, we give him back some to him. And like I said, sir, Mr. Parashram Singh, you can take him up on that offer, and we will have a lot more of that. Mr. Rambachan is quite an exponent on the Ramayana. He has over 50 years singing in that, the devotional singing from the Ramayana. He's an expert on the Ramayana as well. A couple of years ago, member of the Rotary Club in Pinal, he sang non-stop for 9 hours. He raised $77,000, which he gave to the Rotary Club of Pinal to help those little children in need of medical attention. He also has several books that he has written, and all of the proceeds goes towards those children to ensure that they have medical needs. To all who contributed items, we just had to make one call, just one call, nothing more than that, and everybody came on board with us. Mr. Patisar, and that enlightening performance. I'm sure you enjoyed that performance. As well as his tabla player, Vinayak Sankar. Vinayak Sankar, this is his first performance together with Mr. Patisar, and he was extremely good. Mrs. Victoria Maharaj and her group. Victoria came in the top 200, and her brother, Kivan, came in the top 200 as well. So there's a lot of academic in that family, as well as talent that you saw here. Victoria is a finalist in Mastana Bahar that will take place next week, Thursday, at Doc's Ranch. And she has asked me to ask you for your support. So if you can show up there and support her, she will appreciate it very much. Next week, Thursday, at Doc's Ranch. And she said, don't worry, she's performing to the end of the program so that you could take your time and come down there. So she has asked for your support. A.P.S. Dance Group, led by Abigail. We are always grateful for your performance. Taramati Maharaj, a wonderful artist, good performer. We thank her as well. The Tassa Boys, what can we say? My ears still ringing, so. Wonderful performance. And like I said, we are having a little bit of problem now. We have to take away the pencils and pens from those boys because they are taping the end with masking tape, and they are beating every lunchtime and recess time. They are even beating when the teachers are teaching, so we have to be careful how we handle that. So it's wonderful performance. Shivan and Shivam, thank you very much. To our Master of Ceremony, Mr. Ramphal, it's always glad to have you here, a son of the soil. And we have a presentation for you to show our appreciation. Ms. Meru, can you make that presentation to Mr. Ramphal? Mr. Ramphal, for your unique voice, you are ever so willing. Your wit and charm kept the audience captivated throughout. Your fillers, one call, like I said, and you were willing to come. He also came, took time from his busy schedule and left his way home way up east to come visit us so that we could discuss the program. So, thank you very much. We do appreciate it very much, and we listen for your voice when you are commentating on all your programs. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it very much. Raj, our resident MC. Thank you very much, Raj, for your special touch that you added to our presentation. To our contributors, both financial and in kind. They are too numerous to mention by name, but without you and your support, this wonderful event will not take place. To our resident photographer, Karen Yipnow and his crew, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate it very much. Karen does a wonderful job. Please, if you have any function and you would like to organize with Karen, you can meet him after the function and you can speak to him. To our specially invited guests and our awardees, thank you for accepting our invitation. You have done your part in making our program a tremendous success it was. If I have inadvertently forgotten anyone, I do sincerely apologize and offer my sincere gratitude to you. Before we finish this part of the program, I would like to especially thank Vish Mahabir and his family for that wonderful picture you see as you ascend the step there. It's a wonderful picture. We are looking for a permanent home for that picture. And for the paint supplied to spruce up the hall so that our programs will be added, get an added touch there. So Mrs. Mahabir is here. Thank you, Mrs. Mahabir. Please take this message back home to your family. Before I go, there is something I must do. The honorees. These are 8 people. Mr. Jairam Singh and I. Mr. Jairam Singh is the oldest serving member of staff here. And I come next. We are the only 2 people to work under the entire tenure of Mr. Daniram, and that is something we are always proud of. We are the only 2. Others came and left, others left because they retired, they reached their age, but we are the only 2. Our honorees, I am giving you from inside. Mr. Daniram, from him we learned our management skill. First, past pupil to be principal. That in itself is an achievement. That in itself is an achievement. Mr. Daniram taught us to fix anything in school, anything. A tap, one day I come fumbling by the gate there with a piece of BRC wire. So what's going on? He said the dog's coming in and bursting up the garbage bag. So we fixed that. We fixed toilet, we fixed pipe, and those children who are here and those parents who are here and who would have came to school when Mr. Daniel was principal will know what I'm talking about. His motto used to be, never leave for anything else. In those years, we never depended on the board to fix anything. We would fix it ourselves. Whatever we can't fix, we would hire somebody, they would fix it, and next time we won't have to hire them, because we knew how to fix it then. He was also a past member of the A.P.S. Board of Management and served in many capacities. Like Mr. Ramphal mentioned, he honed some of his management skill when he was General Secretary of the TTBS, Trinidad and Tobago CBS, Cricket Board of Control. So Mr. Daniram, thank you for all the service that you have given to our school. Mr. Siram Singh. Mr. Siram Singh handled the religious aspect. He was a financial wizard. Anytime you needed money, Mr. Siram Singh was the treasurer. He was always willing to dip his hand in his pocket. How much you need, Rob? How much you need, Bal? How much you need, everybody. He was always willing, and he kept a very strict and stringent record. He was always willing to teach, because when he left, he passed on the religious aspect as well as a financial record to me. So we learned well from him. He was very strict. I remember one time, right across there, I was teaching Standard 5, Mr. Siram Singh was in 4, and I had now come, and there was this big boy, really big, taller than me, and I was asking him something, why he didn't do his homework or something, and he stood up for me, and Mr. Siram Singh saw him, and just the mere sight of Mr. Siram Singh coming on the corridor, the boy sat down one time, and that was the last time I ever had any problems from him. So Mr. Siram Singh was very strict, and he passed on quite a lot of knowledge to other members of staff. Ms. Ramjit, Ms. Bagan, Ms. Molly. They taught us how to be kind, how to be charitable, how to learn to deal with little children. They were wonderful people, and they were always willing to pass on their knowledge. For us who were young at the time, we always looked at them for advice. We looked at them in a motherly way. Ms. Bale, very strict. Academic-wise, when you work 4 and 5, like me and Mr. Jairam Singh, you always looked for a class from Mr. Siram Singh or from Ms. Beale, because you know once you get a class from them, they are excellent academically, and you don't have to speak to them about their behavior at all. They were strict, very strict, and they passed on quite a lot of knowledge with us. Mrs. Siram Singh, our former vice principal. From her, you learn how to be charitable. Ms. Siram Singh will collect her hampers at Christmas time or whenever the need arise, and she would distribute it. She knew all the families in the school. She knew where help was needed. She knew what kind of help to offer. She would collect uniforms from past pupils, books from past pupils, and pass it on to children who are in need. Mr. Ramsing, you are truly a blessed person. Mr. Ramsing was in charge of the Red Cross, and in those days, we were practically unbeatable. And through the Red Cross, all these charities came. Through these 8 people, we, the teachers, and the pupils benefited. But we, the teachers, benefited more because we learned to be better teachers. We learned to be humble, we learned to be kind, we learned to be strict when we needed to be, we learned to be charitable, and we learned to be better human beings. Thank you very much, you 8. And it is important to note, it was said before, it is important to note that the criteria used to choose these 8 people were teachers who were here, teachers who spent a long time here, and teachers who retired here. Teachers who didn't move on in terms of promotion, or teachers who didn't move on to transfer. So that's why these 8 were chosen. If we go to take previous teachers, there mightn't be room in the front section here. So that is the criteria we use. So teachers, you are blessed. And thank you very much for being part of the Avocat Vedic family. You taught us so much, and you still teach us. Because what was learned there will never be forgotten. So thank you for being such a fantastic audience. There is one other presentation. Mr. Jairam Singh. Good. In our attendance admission register, the number 4960 is assigned to Natasha Meru. Our vibrant leader is the first confirmed female principal and the 5th principal. Under her watch, we were able to gain 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place in SCA, and we have never missed a year in coming in the top 200 since she has assumed the position of principal. Look at our wall of fame. She has transcended the academic barrier for which, for a long time, we were, for the want of a better word, accused of. She has transcended that. If you look at our wall of fame, if you look at the Tassa Boys, our dance group, our cricket, we have transcended that. It has culminated in 9 places in the top 200 in 2019. It is the 3rd place. It is the 3rd place. Avocat Vedic School is 3rd in rank in the and where we placed in SCA 2019. First, San Fernando TML and Maria Regina Prep School with 11 places. Second is our sister school, Gandhi Memorial Vedic with 10. And we are 3rd with 3. That's a phenomenal achievement, people. Come on. That's phenomenal. Apart from that, under her stewardship, we are the winner of 2019 Sandfest drumming category, Tassa, Kiddies cricket competition nationwide, and for the first time in St. Patrick, we have won the quiz, the Kiddies cricket quiz. So that's excellent. We refer to her as the Yes Can lady because when everybody told her the building has to be redesigned and re-electrified, if that's a word. So if that's a word I can use. Everybody told us no. She got it done. The government came in through EFCL at that time and did the entire building, changed the transformers and so on, to the tune of $750,000. That was one. Next, she tackled, along with the staff, of course, the air condition. And we met several barriers along the way, but we were able to raise $300,000. And that's the air condition you are enjoying now. That's the air condition your children enjoy every day when they come to school. So the Yes Can lady. Miss, can I invite you on stage, please, for a presentation? Mr. Jairam Singh, my good friend, will do the presentation. I will tell her. And while Say is doing the presentation, today makes it exactly 28 years since Miss is in the teaching service. I think that's alone reason. deserves a round of applause. 28 years of sterling service. Miss, congratulations. You deserve all the best. Can we please stand for the Bojanman? Let's begin. Om Anapati Anasya Nodiya Namivasya Shishmana Prapradatara Tarisha Arjunurdehi Dvipati Chatushpati Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Almighty One, Lord of food, we partake of this meal by thy grace. May we use only those foods that are health-giving, free from disease, pure and nourishing. May this food help us to overcome our difficulties, and may all bipeds and quadrupeds derive benefits therefrom. Namaste, everyone. And thanks again for coming and making our function special. Please do join us downstairs, middle corridor, last classroom, inside and outside dining area.